For over a decade, PSG have ruled French football like royalty. Untouchable, unstoppable, unbelievably rich. But now, the crown might be up for grabs. Just 40 meters from the Parc des Princes, Paris FC has risen, newly promoted, newly dangerous, and now owned by Bernard Arnault, the richest man in Europe. With Red Bull buying in and the Arnault empire backing them, Paris FC isn't just here to survive in Ligue 1, they're here to start a war. A real Parisian derby is on the horizon. So, can the kings of Paris hold their throne? Or is a new dynasty being built across the street? There's a new team in Ligue 1, and they've arrived with a bang. Literally next door to PSG. Paris FC are officially back in France's top flight for the first time in 35 years. And they didn't just sneak in. They kicked the door open. See, Paris FC used to be the little sibling, forgotten, broke, and buried under PSG's shadow since that 2011 Qatari takeover transformed the capital club into football royalty. But suddenly, the balance of power doesn't feel so untouchable. Because 6 months ago, the tides turned. Bernard Arnault, yes, the CEO of Louis Vuitton, the richest man in Europe, and the man whose net worth makes most owners look like interns, bought Paris FC. And if that wasn't spicy enough, he brought Red Bull along for the ride. The energy drink empire now owns 10% of Paris FC, meaning the club just joined a global footballing hydra that includes Leipzig, Salzburg, and New York Red Bulls. You know what that means? Resources, global scouting network, youth system revamp, marketing machine? Oh, it's already revving. So here's the big question. What happens when a rising giant is parked literally across the street from the current king? Because while PSG are reeling from Champions League heartbreak and an identity crisis in the post-Mbappé era, Paris FC are showing up like a fresh, fearless new rival with billion-euro backing, a hunger to compete, and absolutely nothing to lose. So now we ask you, is this the start of a true Parisian war? So you thought Klopp was retiring to sip Pilsner in the Black Forest? Think again. Because as of January 1st, 2025, Jürgen Klopp, yes, that Jürgen Klopp, is back. Not on the touchline, not barking at fourth officials, but in a role possibly even more influential, global head of soccer at Red Bull. And you better believe Paris FC is part of that plan. No, he won't be setting up a gegenpress in Ligue 1 or yelling boom after every counterattack. But make no mistake, this is Klopp's new empire, and Paris FC is a major castle on the board. His job? Not micromanaging matches, but building something deeper. He's here to connect the dots between Leipzig, Salzburg, New York, and now Paris. It's a footballing ecosystem, and Klopp's at the center of it, crafting a model where clubs share intelligence, talent, training, and tactics. Not just to survive, but to dominate. Let's face it, most billionaire-backed projects come with glittering promises and a bloated transfer budget. Until egos get in the way, managers rotate like laundry cycles, and the sporting identity never quite takes off. But Klopp is no trophy collector or puppet executive. He's the guy who transformed Mainz, reinvented Dortmund, and gave Liverpool their spine back. Klopp doesn't just bring a reputation, he brings a philosophy, one that doesn't change overnight but sticks. Youth development, data-driven scouting, playing identity, it's a blueprint. And Paris FC have just plugged into it. It's not just smart, it's terrifying, if you're PSG. Because for over a decade, PSG have ruled Paris like royalty. But now, they're staring across the street at a club backed by the world's richest man and built on the brainpower of one of football's sharpest architects. And while PSG are dealing with post-Mbappé blues and front office reshuffles, their neighbors are building an identity from the ground up, with Klopp's fingerprints all over it. So here's the plot twist. What if Paris FC aren't just here to survive Ligue 1, but to become the best version of what PSG was supposed to be? Think about it. A self-sustaining club with youth talent, elite scouting, and a real sporting philosophy, powered by Louis Vuitton and mentored by Klopp. It's not just a threat, it's a blueprint for takeover. And maybe, just maybe, PSG won't be the only Paris club with global pull much longer. November 29, 2024, Paris. A press conference that barely made the evening news, and yet may go down as the moment that changed European football forever. Because what looked like a quiet announcement was actually the foundation of a footballing monster. LVMH plus Red Bull equals Paris FC 2.0. Forget underdog stories. This isn't one. This is a corporate blitzkrieg with one objective: rewrite the footballing hierarchy in France and maybe even Europe. LVMH, the world's largest luxury empire. The same company that owns Louis Vuitton, Dior, Givenchy, and basically every designer item you've ever double-tapped on Instagram is now knee-deep in football. Their CEO, Bernard Arnault, net worth nearly $200 billion. And thanks to his joint venture with Red Bull, he now owns 80% of Paris FC. Not sponsoring, not investing, owning. Let that sink in. This is not your average sugar daddy scenario. This isn't someone rich buying a club for fun. This is a strategic football takeover by a luxury brand that already knows how to dominate markets. LVMH doesn't do things small, and Red Bull doesn't do things randomly. Red Bull brings the global footballing structure: Leipzig, Salzburg, New York, Bragantino, and now Paris. While LVMH brings something more subtle but even more dangerous: global attention. You've seen LVMH in Formula 1, the NBA, the NFL, and even the 2024 Paris Olympics. They know how to put products in the spotlight. And this time, the product is Paris FC. That means every shirt, every player, every campaign is about to be branded, polished, and monetized. The marketing machine is revving, and no one does it better than Arnault's empire. And here's the kicker. Most takeover clubs, Man City, Chelsea, even PSG, faced years of chaos before they found an identity. Coaches rotated like doorbells. They bought big names before they built structure. They paid big and often got less. But Paris FC won't make that mistake. Why? Because they don't need to figure it out. They've already got the blueprint. Red Bull's system is proven. They've taken unknown youngsters and turned them into global stars. They've built academies, trained scouts, and optimized development models. And now, all of that is plugged into a club that's across the street from the Parc des Princes. It's like watching a new empire rise while the old one nervously looks over its shoulder. This is no longer just a rivalry. It's a takeover in slow motion. So here's the million-dollar question. Is PSG still the kings of Paris? Or are we watching a quiet revolution unfold 40 meters away? Because what started as a Ligue 1 promotion has now turned into something far bigger. Arnault isn't here to play second fiddle. Klopp didn't join to manage spreadsheets. And Red Bull isn't in this for the vibes. This is about power, brand, identity, and control. Will Paris FC actually topple PSG? Or will the city implode in a battle of billionaires? Will the Parc des Princes become a throne or a museum? Let us know what you think. Who's really building the future of football in Paris? The old guard or the new empire? Because one thing is certain. The City of Lights is now the City of Fights. And this derby? It's just getting started.